Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, December 14, 2023, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow night, Friday, we have a special guest for our Reverse Aging Health Call, around 9 p.m. Eastern. Obey no orders except those from within. You follow these. You decide to follow these that I'm going to share there, but I've shared them before. But they're very profound. Obey no orders except those from within. The only God is life itself. Truth is within. Do not look for it elsewhere. Love is prayer. Emptiness is the door to truth. It is the means, the end, and the achievement. Life is here and now. Live fully awake. Do not swim, float. Die each moment so that you are renewed each moment. Stop seeking that which is stop and see. Stop seeking that which is stop and see. Love is our true nature. It's our true essence. It's our natural state of being as the gods that we are in these bodies. Love has no limitations of caste, religion, race, or nationality. We are all beads strung together on the same thread of love. To awaken this unity and to spread to others the love that is our inherent nature is the true goal of human life. Amache. Most of us know, if not all of us, that participate in these meditations and other applications, I think people believe that enlightenment is something that is given to them. Okay? And you should begin to realize whatever that has been given to us can also be taken away from us. So we choose, every one of us, no one's going to force you to go within. No one. So we find this great spiritual liberation within ourselves. Makes sense, doesn't it? We learn how to cultivate its presence in our life. As every one of us, we are the master of it all in the end. We really are. We are the master of it all in the end. Our enlightenment is destined to find us in this lifetime or the next. It is on its way. We simply need to get out of the way and understand how to receive it. And most don't. And you're receiving it from the God within you. When the mind stops all searching in the outer for fulfillment, how many do you believe on this planet do that? I don't believe any of us are exempt from it. Different degrees, different levels that we choose, that we manifest. When the mind stops searching, when it stops all searching in the outer for fulfillment and finally comes to relax home in our very core, the realization is discovered that enlightenment was always there. It's just buried deep within our beings. We, all of us, to varying degrees, experience suffering in this life because of one little thing: ignorance. Ignorance is the root of all misunderstandings, all denials. Remember, I say this a lot, ignorance is evil, knowledge is power. When we ignore the truth of our infinite being, beingness, our ignorance expands, and it soon transfers us into the path of suffering. Now, to transcend our ignorance and to find spiritual freedom in our life again, the intention for a deeper awareness is needed. We must choose to welcome the most profound state of consciousness we can imagine. By simply opening up to our own consciousness, we can release anything instantly that would make us suffer. Nothing more than pure awareness is needed to transcend this illusion and rediscover the liberating truth of who we are. Each moment of our lives has the potentiality to become the most liberating, healing, enlightening experience we can handle. The more open, ready, and willing we are to receive something magnificent, the easier and faster the magic comes flooding in. When we are ready for enlightenment, which is what we are. See, this is the ironic thing. The God within us is enlightened. It's the embodiment of enlightenment. We've always been that. We have not ever not been it. It's in us, within, right? Yet, the majority of us, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, never discover that. And the interesting thing is, it will find us. We don't have to strive for it. In fact, another irony is the harder we work for it, the further it moves away from us. What would happen to all of us if we made it our priority to totally relax and enjoy our lives? What would really happen? Fully surrender to our real self, the God. Explore who we truly are, the God. What we really want, and what our purpose is on this planet. What it actually is, it is on a spiritual level, not a physical. Now, interestingly enough, what did they suppress on this planet so much with all of us? What is it? Overtiming it, all the time, generation after generation. Life is wild, love is wild, and God is absolutely wild. Those who are wild always reach enlightenment. Okay. That is profoundly true. Do you believe that we reach enlightenment fully contained, suppressed, controlled, directed, manipulated, deceived? A tough challenge for any of us. It is a challenge, but it's interesting. Be open to the new and release your ego's need to be right about anything. Now it all pushes and pulls us, doesn't it? Being right can be the hardest ego trip to get off of. And yet causes a major amount of suffering. If the ego believes it is wrong about any one little thing, it starts feeling insecure. That we basically could be wrong about everything in our entire life. Whatever the mind believes is true always becomes our reality in that moment. The colored lens we perceive our world with today becomes how this world tends to appear for us tomorrow. If everyone around us, from birth to death, says that life is this hard, painful, and unfair experience, and we believe them, then how will we ever learn how to relax, let go, trust, and enjoy living in this amazing universe? Now, if we think we must fight to get what we want in this life, and there's a lot of us that do, where do we end up? We end up manifesting a very serious, challenging ride. To experience love, enlightenment, and freedom, we must choose to step over our ego and be open to a completely new experience of this life in each moment. Our inner and outer world is one massive playground. Learn how to be free. Have fun within your life. Think of each new day as your chance to step on a very interesting and comical life stage, because it is comical. I'm sure we all agree with that. We can choose any hat to wear, lens to see through, any costume, right? Or fascinating role we desire to play. Because remember, it's all temporary. And this is really interesting for us all to understand. It has become abnormal for people to just relax on this planet. You notice that? To just sit still, be silent and alone. That's a rarity today in this very now. We've got these doaholics, which have become the social societal norm. Got to be doing, come, going. Many people avoid meditation. Why? This is a real interesting one. They avoid meditation because they think it is boring. They don't have the time for it, or feel they have failed at it. You don't fail, you experience. Trying to quiet their mind after a few random attempts, when we realize that all of our suffering, chaos, and illness in this life is caused by our inability to quiet the mind. And that's what meditation does, so we can master it. There's no other way. We will spend more time practicing being in the present and less vested doing something, thinking it will take us somewhere better than being right here, right now. Eventually, with enough time spent practicing being present to the now, we do discover our real infinite nature inside. We realize we are spiritual beings and have everything we were looking for and so much more. The greatest mystics in history all discovered what? That they were enlightened beings the whole time. Very interesting, isn't it? When they were simply being quiet, relaxed, and fully in the here, now. So when their big awakening happened, they were not trying to do anything. Okay? What have we been taught for thousands of years? You always got to be doing something, right? To the big awakening, to all the greatest gurus, whatever you want to label them, enlightenment was discovered when they were simply being quiet, relaxed, and fully in the here now. And when their big awakening happened, they were not trying to do anything. This is the great mystery of this life. And mastery of the mind is by far the greatest achievement mankind can ever have. So don't be so quick to just blow off meditation, because it is the direct connection to the gods that we are in this body in total mastership of the ego mind. The experience of being here now, feeling one with the infinite, all-powerful, and omniscient universal God force is enough. It is empowering and highly enlightening to redefine all those old definitions of what it means to get somewhere special in our life. We all remember when we were children. I'm pretty sure we do. When we were a child, what was communicated to us about enlightenment? Anything? No. Zero. Zilch. Did anybody have a clue what enlightenment was or how to experience an enlightened state of bliss? Zero. Zilch. What about today? Zero. Zilch. This is when I talk about the children, okay? When the gods come into the children, and you have quote-unquote adults who have been taught, right, guided in a way to understand who and what they are from child to adult. What do you think is going to happen on this planet? See, everybody talks about all this wonderful stuff coming, but the most omnipotent understanding and embracing is for each of us to understand, embrace, and communicate with the gods that we are in these bodies. Then everything else flows. You come out, you go up to a person, okay? You're just curious or whatever. And you have the opportunity to say to them, do you know how to open your chakras? Most of the time, okay, you're going to get that look, and you know what that look is. Do you know how to open your chakras, meditate, or communicate with God? Have you ever felt, and I know the majority that interact with these meditations and the calls, have you ever felt that most likely everyone around you was more or less spiritually lost? And then telling you what they believed would make you happy, loved, and successful in this life. They wanted the best for you, yet ended up communicating to you how to be unhappy, unenlightened through their actions, belief system, and behavior. Hence, society. Now, if we go back and we think about our childhood, what do we remember was the typical standard story we were told? Now, understand, if you have any animosity towards any of these folks that, programmed you with this, then you should forgive them completely, because it isn't their fault, because they were programmed the same way. The typical standard story we were told, right? That made us feel like a failure, isolated, unloved, or a sense of separation. What belief system did we inherit from our family that created massive limits on how we feel about ourselves and life today? What are they? Have you identified them? Have you embraced them? Have you forgiven all involved with them, including yourself? You might have heard some messages like, you're never going to get anywhere, son or daughter. If you think you are, you're never going to get anywhere. You need an education to become somebody. Because, of course, you're nobody right now. You've got to become somebody. There just isn't enough time for that, right? I cannot tell you how many people, for instance, in my family, okay, we have a family of 7, now we're down to 2. And what my mother would do all the time, because she basically was the matriarch, she ran the household, because my father was always on special assignment. He was always going places that no one ever knew where he was going. And so she just went with the flow, and she basically raised all 5 of us kids single-handedly. He was never there. He was involved with things. Okay? Now, my mother would always say this, because we came from, military family, you didn't get paid a lot, Back then, I saw a paycheck stub of my dad's way after he had passed. And he brought home $385 a month, okay? And that was to feed 5 kids. Now, we had base commissary, the Apex Annex, and stuff like that. And so, you know, we did okay. We did okay. She cooked everything from scratch, period. She learned that from her foster home on the farm, from her foster mother. But she would always say, because she came from the Great Depression, all right? She was little at that time. She was probably about 10, 9 or 10, maybe 11. And so you couldn't afford it. You can't afford it. I can't afford it. She would say this all the time. You could just look at something. Don't get any ideas. We cannot afford that. Okay? Not that you wanted it. You're just curious looking at it. Kind of dreaming that, boy, that'd be neat to have this. So time and time again. Now, my one brother, who's still with me, he's still alive, he inherited that. So he would constantly, he still does, he always talks about how he can't afford this, can't afford this, can't afford this, can't afford that. Can't afford that, can't afford this, can't afford to do this, can't afford to do that. So, that's a belief system that he inherited from my mother that has created massive limits on how he feels about himself and life today. That's one instance. Other messages, right? We may have heard, like, okay, you need an education to become somebody. There just isn't enough time for that. We can't afford that. You cannot be, do, or have XYZ. You are just too much of a blah, blah, blah. Now, and you know, this is from parents usually. You're never going to amount to anything, so why do you even try? Naturally, we are all very gullible as children. Yet if we did not become identified with our family's limiting belief system, we may not be here. If we didn't like, you know, what they did, they might have stopped feeding us and pushed us out of the tribe. We needed to think small, do what we were told, and obey the one in charge in order to remain accepted, loved, and alive. And think about it. The moment that we were born, we all received the idea, right, that this is an unenlightened state of life, that the unenlightened state of life was the norm. Now, what's the other programming? What is it? What is it? Still happening today. I don't think on as heavy a scale, anywhere near as heavy as it used to be. But your child, you're watching TV. You may have seen all the insane world problems on the nightly TV news and thought that this was how the entire world operated, and mass suffering was the way things were. So as we became teenagers, we either rebelled or became assimilated into the unenlightenment system and fell deeper into the story of separation. Now, the more we accepted or rebelled from our communities, the greater our feelings of lack, isolation, and struggle grew inside us. Being surrounded by unenlightened people was an enormous lose-lose situation. Now, to make matters worse, we were forced to attend some jail-like education system, which worked about 3%, and that's being generous, 3% of our brain's potentiality, and was designed to churn. You know what churning is? Like churn butter, that type of thing? To churn once brilliant, creative kids through a social formatting grinder so they become hard workers for the system. We were also taught wonderful lies that everyone believed to be true, like how a human life expectancy should only be 75 to 100 years old, when really our DNA can last thousands of years. We were told that we would have to work really hard to have a home, limited energy, resources, food, knowledge, and power. We were never taught to rebel against authority, think freely, independently, or even consider the possibility of becoming spiritually enlightened. The school system made it illegal to teach children how to find a deep inner connection with the infinite source. It was not important to learn how to meditate, heal your body through your breath, how to make tantric love, master your mind through totally quietness and stillness. Enjoy all our emotions, know the infinite truth of who we are, or how to achieve absolute inner freedom and bliss. The society all around us is still hypnotizing adults and their children to believe that success is all about achieving a higher level of status, money, and career. Our poor education system is still in its infancy and simply has never had a large dose of enlightenment, so it doesn't know any better. Now, this now moment, there are many awakened beings in this world today who know the truth, that real success in this life is defined by how liberated, spiritually rich, loving, and enlightened we are as human beings. This world is slowly waking up, one person at a time. People are beginning to see that happiness is not something you can attain from striving to achieve the right income, status, career, marriage, or diploma. Striving to reach these things will only distract us from walking our spiritual paths and discover the most rewarding life experience of them all. Remember, whatever limited ideas that we received from our families or school system were their limitations, not yours. It was their limitations and not yours. Now, when we stop and give back those beliefs, we can reclaim our spiritual freedom again within ourselves. The limiting beliefs handed down from our family run deep in our blood. And it will take every ounce of awareness that we have inside of us to see them. Freedom will occur when they are fully seen, felt into, and released from our mental, emotional bodies, as well as our subconscious minds. We must forgive all of these people of their unenlightened programming, if we are ever to be fully free. A lot of people carry grudges, angers, a lot of crap and garbage, lifetime after lifetime, because they haven't forgiven. And I'm not saying surface forgive, deep forgiveness. Because if we don't, we'll never be free. It is all karmic. And nobody is to blame. They simply were not taught by their parents how to live in a constant state of wonder and amazement in their lives while doing daily tasks like changing diapers, cutting the grass, going to work, paying their bills. When we forgive them, and we will, and see how they were not raised by fully self-realized, self-actualized, enlightened beings, we can easily forgive ourselves for the limiting beliefs and negative feelings about ourselves that we inherited. Many of us on this planet, we often hide from our life mission and spiritual purpose in our mind. Thoughts are safe, while real-life experiences out there seem dangerous, scary, and unsafe. Life is inherently insecure because death is always potentially around the next corner. We might find it easier to not take risks and go for our big dreams in life and not go, right? Because we have fear of getting hurt or lost in the wild ocean. When we only choose to stay safe, comfy, and that's basically being dead in a way, inside our little comfortable fish bowls or old habits, we only do the things that once gave a sense of confidence and security, and we stop growing completely. This life, right, is this beautiful natural chaos with a divine cosmic structure. Our lives are this daily adventurous roller coaster ride that we need to learn how to enjoy. Life is meant to be fun because we just don't know exactly how things will turn out, do we? We won't know until the last second how we will respond to what someone says or how we'll experience in our life is here for our spiritual growth. Each boring, exciting, or normal experience is meant to expand us, help us see and feel the entire ocean around us in the now, and jump out of our safe little fishbowl and swim in the ocean of existence. It's easy to do. Simply stop thinking about your life and actually start enjoying the one you're living, feeling, and breathing in the now. I'll join you in a meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in from the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. From the smallest grain of sand on the beach to the largest galaxy in this universe, everything is necessary to create perfection and balance in creation. Our existence on this planet is a vital piece in the great jigsaw puzzle in this life in general. Do you know how annoying it would be to organize and complete a billion-piece puzzle, finally figure it all out, and then realize you're missing one last piece? Every one of our lives are more important than we would ever know. We are all greatly needed. And the best thing is, there's no pressure at all. Just be yourself. However you're showing up today is exactly what this universe needs. While you're hanging out here, relax and enjoy your naturally sweet, soft heart presence. There's nothing more amazing, healing, guiding for us to experience you. Maybe the best thing of it all is that our heart's presence can be felt while we're doing anything. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. You'll return here Friday, December 15, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call, and around 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging health call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest. Eternal gratitude at all times. You'll never run out of things to be grateful for.